Okay, in the top corner of your page, if you could go ahead, please, and put today's date. Today is February 9th. And today we're going to talk about elaboration. And basically what that is you say more. You say more. Now, so far in our study of body paragraphs, we've talked about the fact that we need to begin our body paragraph by indenting and having a main idea sentence that begins with a transitional phrase. We've talked about how we should choose that transitional phrase from the chart in our notebook, because there are certain transitional phrases that you're going to want to use to start a body paragraph. Now, after you have your main idea sentence, that's when you cite your text. You're getting ready to provide text evidence, and you're going to give your text evidence a source, and then you're going to either quote directly, you're going to paraphrase, which means to put into your own words what was said, or you are going to summarize. And summarize applies mostly to large pieces of text in which you want to just narrow the focus and state only the important parts of it, which would be in your own words in either event. Anytime you're lifting words or phrases directly from the text, you need to put them in quotation marks. So notice the pattern. Present the text. You're going to cite the source first, present the text, but then you need to elaborate. Now, there are two choices here. You can group the pieces of your evidence together, so when you go to say more about them, what you're saying applies to all of those pieces of texts. Or if your text evidence is very different, you're going to present some text, elaborate, then present more text, and elaborate. Now remember, the reason why we're really studying this intensely this week is because this is a huge portion of the rubric. Evidence and elaboration counts for 4 points on the rubric. That's a lot. And if we're not presenting our evidence properly by citing it, stating it, either in quoting it, paraphrasing it, summarizing it, and then elaborating on it, we're losing a lot of points on the rubric. But even more importantly, our reader is not clear about what we're trying to say. And we definitely want to be clear. So if we use our example that we had from our earlier lesson, where we wrote a citation and presenting evidence, in the article, "Are these chips too delicious?" it states, "They work in top secret laboratories." Well, when we're done presenting our information about the secrecy of flavoring foods today, we're ready to say more. And one of the things that we have to help us are some what we call thought prompts. Now, when you're just starting out, you probably need these thought prompts, but as you become an advanced writer, you can use them to generate the ideas, and then you can remove them. So today I wanted to give you a couple of examples of thought prompts that you could use in your writing. Once you have cited your evidence and presented your evidence and you're ready to say more. Basically, you're going to tell your reader how this evidence supports the main idea you're presenting. All right, so let's stay focused on what we're talking about, the flavoring of food and the secrecy involved in flavoring food, both in the 1400s and today. Okay? Once we present our evidence, we might use something like, "This shows." Go ahead and write that down in your notebook. That's one example of a thought prompt that would help you to elaborate. This shows. So once we say that are these chips too delicious, in the article, are these chips too delicious states that they work in top secret laboratories and that they are not allowed to talk about the work that they are doing, we can say this shows that there is an element of secrecy to the flavoring of food. Or this shows that they are keeping secrets. Another one that you could use, this means. This means that the work that they are doing is protected. This means that the formulas that they have developed are kept a secret. You can also use something like, this proves. So basically what you're doing is you're elaborating on the text evidence that you have cited and presented, and now you're ready to say more. Okay, a couple of others that you might use, this connects. In other words, this is important. So basically, when you are elaborating on your text evidence, you are explaining to your reader why you put that evidence there. What is it going to show your reader? What is it going to prove to your reader? What are you trying to say? And like I said earlier, the reason why we're focusing so closely, micro-focusing on this, is because this is a very important part of our rubric for our essay writing. Okay, what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and go back to the citing and stating evidence that you just wrote from a bloody history. And I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see it again, but you should have it already. Remember, we just practiced in our previous mini lesson, we just practiced how to cite and present this piece of text. In those days, most Europeans had no idea where these spices came from. How could you elaborate on that evidence? Go ahead and quickly jot something down in your notebook, and then we'll share. Are you ready there, Sawyer? All right, share. What did you write?
This shows an element of secrecy.
Okay, this shows an element of secrecy, and I would say you want to be specific and maybe say something like, this shows an element of secrecy in the flavoring of food today. Don't be afraid to include those details in your body paragraphs, right? That's what your reader is looking for, those details that will help them to understand exactly what you're trying to say. Yes, do you want to share yours? Okay, go ahead.
In other words, this shows the secrecy of flavoring.
Okay, well, you used two, so choose one, but you could say, in other words, flavoring food is a big secret. Okay? All right, so let me just review again the pattern, because guys, Writing an essay, a basic 5-paragraph essay, it's an algorithm, just like math. Okay, so your body paragraph, main idea sentence, cite, then present your evidence, elaborate on your evidence, and then your linking sentence. Okay, we'll have a separate mini lesson focusing on the linking sentence next week. And then we're going to be conferencing on body paragraphs all next week. So you need to make sure that when you go back to your seat today, for the small amount of time that we have left, that you are going to work and specifically look at your body paragraphs to see if you followed the pattern. Did you do what you were supposed to do for your reader? Main idea sentence, cite and present the text evidence, elaborate on the text evidence, linking sentence at the end. Any questions before you head back to your seats? All right, please go ahead back and start working.